And we welcome you back. We are live here with Pure Nebraska. We are on the road at the Nebraska Cattlemens Classic in Kearney. And on the program, as you know, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group Common Ground.
Yeah, and Common Ground is always trying to get a positive message out about agriculture to consumers. So joining us now is Leslie Boswell. She's from Shickley. You're a volunteer with Common Ground. Thank you for making the drive today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I know beef is a big part of your life. And Nebraska kind of goes back and forth as the #1 cattle on feed state in the country. How important is beef to the state's economy?
It is huge. If you look at our #1 rankings, which Nebraska is always proud of, we are the #1 for beef and veal exports. We are also #1 for red meat production. So when consumers ask us, well, we like to have our food local, where does this come from? You can pretty easily say that any of the meat that you're finding in the grocery stores is local, because very good chance it did come from Nebraska.
Wow.
We're also #1, though, in popcorn and dry edible beans. So we've got a few things that we can be proud of. But when you talk about the economy, farm receipts in Nebraska equal about $25 billion. And that is a huge, by far the largest industry in Nebraska. And that money eventually comes back to Main Street. For every dollar that is spent on, or that is received on livestock or farm products, 62 cents of that goes back to a non-ag business, which means Main Street. You can see the businesses that are here that relate to ag, but they all have to come back to that farm income. So it's huge.
Really means a lot to the state's economy. And you are a corn producer near Shickley.
Yes.
How does corn production relate to beef? I mean, works hand in hand a little bit, I would assume, that beef has an impact on what you do as well.
It really does, because Nebraska is the 3rd largest corn producer. And one of the great advantages we have there is our irrigation with the aquifer. So we have a fairly stable water supply for our corn. And where we have the feed source here, we're also about 5th in hay production, which is the feed that these animals need. We're also very high in ranking on ethanol production, and a lot of them use distillers' grains for their feed. So where we've got the feed base here, it makes sense to have the cattle where the feed is instead of shipping the feed to where the cattle are.
And Leslie, what is your assessment of a gathering like this today at the Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic?
I think it's wonderful. It's always the networking, getting to see old friends, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that's impressed me here is the number of FFA students here. I love the organization FFA. I was in FFA when I was in high school. And it is a tremendous organization that helps bring these kids up to where they can come back to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gives them a broader view of the possible jobs that they could have in the field or that relate to the field, so that they can contribute to agriculture in a number of different ways.
Okay, well, it is good to see all the students here today, and it's good to see you as well. Leslie, thanks for being here representing Common Ground.
Thank you.
All right.